Coming up on Transformers University, why was 6 afraid of 7? Because 7 ate 9. And we're going to talk Masterforce episode 789 right now on Transformers University.
Welcome to Transformers University, brought to you by TFU.INFO. Wait and see. From toys and comics, cartoons to the screen, we'll dive into the history no one will be. Transformers University, brought to you by TFU.INFO. Info, where the stories unfold, the legends grow with the owner, operator, Method Anthony. Transformers University, it's the place to be. Autobots and Decepticons, battles and lore. Every twist and turn, we've got the score. From Cybertron's depths to the Earth's shore, it meets the eye and so much more. Transformers University, brought to you by TFU.INFO. Info, where the stories unfold, the legends grow with the owner, operator, Method Anthony. Transformers University, it's the place to be. It's the place to be. Zoom in, transform, and roll out with us at Transformers University. It's a must.
Hello, my friend, and welcome to episode 151 of Transformers University. I am your host, Anthony Brucali, owner-operator, madman behind TFU.INFO, the website, the Tory Archive, this podcast, TFU News and Reviews podcast, and oh, so much more. I want to welcome you back to Transformers University. I know it has been quite a bit since we posted a new episode, but I do want to welcome you back and hopefully get back into the swing of things as we are now in the year 2025, the far-flung future of 2025, 20 years past the far-flung future of Transformers the movie. I realize there's been a delay between this episode and 150. I have to say there's been a couple of things. Some of it's been burnout, some of it's been personal. Work has been a roller coaster. Family has been a bit of a roller coaster, and finding time to do the research for this podcast, plus everything just going on here in the U.S. Since the fall, let's say, has made things kind of hard for me to drum up the enthusiasm to really bring the episodes that I want to bring to you and that you as my listeners I feel deserve. So with that in mind, I hope everyone had a happy holiday, whatever holiday you may celebrate, and a joyous RossCon 2024. And I want you to know also that there has been slight change to my social media presence. You can still find me at Facebook and Instagram and all those places you could find me before, including Twitter. I don't really hang out there anymore. Let's just say the platform has lost me and kind of has lost my audience, which is you for the most part. It hasn't been serving the audience in terms of me being able to get my message to you. So with that in mind, with over 6,000 followers there, 6,000 followers before November 2024, now it is now dropped below that 6,000 to the 5,900 mark somewhere. Not feeling like I can even interact with a fraction of that. I have officially made the move over to Blue Sky. So you can find me at tfuinfo.bluesky.social. Is it bsky.social? I always forget how those names work. But look, if you're on Blue Sky, we'll get it all figured out for the next episode. But if you're on Blue Sky, please hunt me down. Please follow. We're just shy of 1,000 followers as of this recording. We're about 50 folks shy of hitting 1,000 followers. And that's, you know what? I was at, I think, around 200 at the beginning of November. So that's a tremendous amount of growth on a social media platform for what has barely been 2 months. So with that in mind, please swing over there. It's a good time. It's a good place to post, and I feel like the people who follow me are actually getting to hear what I have to say, which includes this podcast, because we always want to grow this audience. We always want to grow our supporters and our followers and our fans. And speaking of supporters, if you're part of the Patreon and you're a student over at the patreon.com/TFU.INFO, I do want to thank you for sticking around, for staying on board, for being a supporter of this podcast. It means the world to me, and I cannot thank you enough. And if you would like to be a supporter, if you'd like to come along for the ride. You can join for free, and you'll get my posts every so often. You can join for as little as $1 per month and get episodes early and get early access to a lot of what we do, plus access to all the exclusive content that I've already posted there. And I'm kicking around ideas for more content for 2025 as my schedule really starts to hopefully free up a little bit. In the meantime, until my schedule frees up, I am focusing here on this podcast and on the website redesign and occasionally on the social media. So keep an eye out for all of that. I've also got some cool video ideas that I've been kicking around, and we'll see where that goes. But for now, we are going to talk Masterforce. And last time we talked Masterforce, we had gotten into the Headmaster Juniors, both on the Autobot and Decepticon side. We learned a little bit about the Chokin Energy and Devil Z and how those are going to play into this program. And we're going to continue a bit of that. And I have to say, Masterforce, much like many Japanese animated series and much like most of these Japanese Transformers series, is a bit of a slow drip. And that's what we're going to find here in these 3 episodes, that it is kind of a slow drip here. And then we're going to start with episode number 7, originally airing May 24th, 1988, called Panic! Protect the Wild Animals, which was the original name for the band Panic at the Disco. It actually started out as Panic! Protect the Wild Animals, and then they changed it to Panic at the Safari Park, then Panic at the Zoo, and then Panic at the Disco Zoo, and then finally Panic at the Disco. Or, as Omni Productions like to call this episode,
Preservation of the Wild Animals.
All right, it's close. It's close, Omni. You did a good job. So this starts off in Africa, and some animals have begun to stampede. We're going to meet this park ranger kind of guy, safari expert guy. We'll get to him in a bit, but we see him all throughout the opening scene. And then we cut over to Cab's hut, where the Headmaster Juniors eat coconut and chit-chat about the news reports and about Kellen Island. And then Metal Hawk thinks the Decepticons are involved, and the Autobots head to Kenya. Now, at the Decepticon base, the Headmaster Juniors on the Decepticon side want to go along to fight the Autobots, but Blood will not let them go. The Decepticon Headmaster Juniors question Blood's plan to use these animals to do whatever they're doing, and this angers him a lot. He starts throwing things at them, rocks and stuff, and then he reveals his plan.
Human beings have always been the #1 enemies for the wild animals. People slaughter animals for their insatiable vanity. It's now time for the animals to fight back. Let them destroy their villages, destroy their crops. They'll help us to teach people a lesson.
In Kenya, the Autobots unload their transdectors from the cargo plane that they're on, and Minerva has dressed for the warm climate with a crop top and some very short shorts. The boys ogle her. And she yells at them. This is very odd for a Transformers series, I have to tell you. And it turns out in the Japanese version, after she yells at them for ogling them, they're driving through the desert plains, the African plains, and the 2 boys are singing a song about Minerva's skimpy outfit. However, this did not make it into the dub.
Oh, I love the feel of the wind in my face, yeah.
I'm an old cowhand from the Rio Grande.
I'm an old cowhand from the Rio Grande.
Before
And I'm driving down.
So the Autobots rendezvous and cowboy up with Mr. Ricky, the aforementioned park ranger kind of guy. In the dub, he's called Mr. Lincoln or Mr. Leakin. Depends on how you want to hear that and spell that. And Mr. Ricky, we'll call him here for simplicity's sake. He immediately pulls his rifle and points it at the kids and fires, shooting a scorpion off of Minerva's shoulder. The Autobots then, after realizing he's not trying to kill them, they split up. The Headmaster Juniors go with Mr. Ricky. The Pretenders inspect the burnt out land that is nearby, and in that they find these bombs that are used to scare the animals. Mr. Ricky and the Headmaster Juniors go to their village, And Mr. Ricky shares a flashback of the stampede as he shows a baby deer that he is taking care of to the kids.
A large herd of wild deer started charging towards a school full of students. I was shocked at what I saw, but there was only one thing that I could do. I started shooting. The wild deer lost their leader and scattered in all directions. It was then that I found this little deer. I guess the herd ran him down during the panic. I took him to see a vet, but was told there was nothing that he could do. I feel responsible for him. It was me who caused him to suffer.
So, according to TF Wiki, the Japanese version of Mr. Ricky here actually killed the fawn's parents in the original story. Minerva takes the fawn, and she thinks she can help, hopefully trying to relieve Mr. Ricky of his guilt. She places the fawn in her vehicle form in the med bay. Now, in the savannah, we got two pretenders, Lander and Phoenix. They're attacked by Krakens, two of them, and that is Sea Wing, for those of you keeping track of the Seacons here, and as well as an Overbite, which is an Overbite, if you're keeping track of the Seacons, and the pretenders quickly defeat them. However, Metalhawk and Diver are also being attacked by other Seacons, and the Decepticon pretenders arrive. The bots reveal that they have disarmed all the bombs. But the Decepticons have a squadron of Krakens. The Autobots destroy them all, and the Decepticon pretenders sneak off to the animals. There, Blood hypnotizes the animals.
Humans are your number one enemy. Go and attack them. Go and destroy them. Humans are your number one enemy. Go and attack them. Go and destroy them.
Now, hypnotized, the animals are stampeding, and the Autobots try to stop this elephant stampede. The Headmaster Juniors clear the village, or at least try to, and Mr. Ricky gets his gun, firing warning shots. Then, an almost suicidal attempt, he tries to stop the elephants by signaling them with his hands and basically trying to stand in their path. Cab and Ghost Shooter, in their robot forms, try to protect him and stop the stampede. The Pretender bots, they join this blockade, and the Decepticon pretenders flee. The Autobots save the village, the elephants leave, and the fawn is healed, returning it to the wild at the very end of this episode. Now, it's like I said, these stories are very much a slow drip. There's not a lot happening here. It's an unusual one-FO episode, even for a Japanese series. It's entirely skippable for the most part. The one thing here is that Blood's hypnotic powers, bomb burst in the West, right? Blood. We do see Devil Z as he's revealing his plans, and it's kind of insinuated here that Blood is actually channeling Devil Z's powers when he does these things like hypnotize folks, and that's the whole episode. There's really not a lot there. It's kind of a thin plot. It's kind of just bizarre MacGuffin. It does lead us to our next episode. Now, it's also a filler in a way, because this is the next episode kind of kicks off the next phase of storytelling in this series. And so we feel like we have a fresh arc here, and episode 7 feels like just like a bridge. There's a small gap between the end of the previous arc and the start of the current arc. And episode 8 is called Super Warriors, the Godmaster Brothers. Originally airing May 31st, 1988. And as the Omni production version calls it,
The Super Twins!
However, the Super Twins are not, in fact, twins at all. They don't even look alike. They are just brothers. Start of this episode, the Decepticons meet on a cliff at sunrise. The Headmaster Juniors are late, and Blood has a reminder for them.
You come when we want you to, understand?
That is quite a reminder. The Decepticons are meeting someone. We don't know who, though. Elsewhere in Japan, Cab and Shuda are training for a hang gliding competition. Minerva plans to join them a bit after school to also train with them. back where the Decepticons are, they take the Seacraft to an underground base, and the interior of the base is kind of Greek-like ruins with a sky underground. Bizarre. It's like they went to Caesar's Palace in Vegas, only it's full of Decepticons. And there are these two armored guards with axes and swords. They're basically knights. And I honestly think they would make for interesting toys. But it turns out the guards remove their armor and reveal two humans, two men inside. One kicks blood in the chest, and they fight. There's some size issues here because the statues, the armored statues, are huge. They are the size of these pretenders in their monster form, which I guess is a little bit taller than human, but not as tall as your typical Transformer. But there's no kind of mass to these armored suits that would make you think they were like stilts or anything inside them to make them bigger. The fight is broken up when two more humans show up, a man and a woman, one with this giant Decepticon symbol hanging from a thing that's hanging off his belt. It looks like a pouch. It could be a merkin. I don't really know, but it is certainly a large Decepticon symbol. So these humans reveal who they are. We have the man who is Giga and the woman who is Mega. They are instructing the other Decepticons to follow. Over at the hang gliding practice, all is quiet, and it's kind of odd that all is quiet. And Diver, who is at Autobot base, is reading while getting a tan, which of course you would do if you were a robot shell that is for a human, or a human that is got a robot mind. I don't know exactly how it works. He's also reading a book called what I can assume is War Wasp 3. You can see Wasp and 3 in the AR of War, so I'm going to assume it's War Wasp 3. And the front cover, that's on the index, and the front cover says The Currents of Spade, which I don't know what that would mean. And the author is Isaac Asimov with an E, kind of, I guess, a knockoff Isaac Asimov, clearly meant to be an homage to the famed science fiction writer. Now, Metal Hawk radios into Diver to tell him all is quiet, and that's weird. And then back at this Decepticon island base, Mega and Giga reveal they have completed some research on a powerful new technology. They also reveal that the brothers in the armor outside are none other than Buster and Hydra. And then Giga goes on to explain.
These two are not from the Autobots, nor are they junior headmasters. Their power surpasses them all. They are Power Master Warriors.
Power Master Warriors?
But still, they're human beings, aren't they?
They are different entities. They have power much greater than people on Earth. Even the Pretender Warriors are not in their league.
So we see Buster and Hydra in their Godmaster armor, and then Giga shows off their Transtectors. He continues.
They have the combined powers of heaven, earth, and soul, such as you have never seen in your life.
So the powers that he's referring to in the Japanese language version refer to the Chokan power that we've mentioned in previous episodes, making them, quote-unquote, God Masters. So God Masters is the Japanese term for Power Master, which we'll hear used interchangeably because of the dub. The dub does use a lot of the Western names for things. Hydra and Buster convert to their robot modes. The Godmasters then argue with the Pretenders, pointing out all their flaws and all the things they couldn't get done. And then it becomes kind of a contest between them. So Hydra and Buster combine into their jet form, and then Blood transforms into his jet form, and they fly out of the base. Challenge accepted. The hang gliding competition is about to begin over at Mount Fuji. The Autobots watch on TV, and then Phoenix radios in to tell Metal Hawk and team that 4 unidentified jets are over London and are traveling at high speeds. I don't think it's 4. I think it's 3. But I wrote down 4 in my notes, so we'll go with it. It could be a mistake of the dub, too. Military jets intercept these Decepticons, and Buster and Hydra show off, shooting down the entire squadron as they head towards Japan. The Decepticons then rendezvous on the beach and decide to battle hand-to-hand, crashing into some of the hang gliders from the competition, including Cab, who gets knocked out of the sky. And the battle makes the news.
Here's a special report. Some monsters have appeared in the middle of the hang gliding competition and attacked people.
And from here, the camera zooms in on Hydra and Buster in their Godmaster armor. And I got to say, these are really cool designs. Hydra has a cobra head on his armor, and he's in this really rich shade of navy blue. And then Buster is in purple and has like this bird-like head over his head. These are the sorts of things that when Hasbro did the RED Red line at Walmart a few years back, these are the things they should have done because they were just visually interesting and compelling instead of just doing another Optimus and Soundwave Megatron. But I digress. Metalhawk and Lander head to Mount Fuji. The Decepticon Headmaster Juniors join the battle, as does Ghost Shooter. Minerva tends to the injured gliders, and the Pretenders battle each other, Autobot and Decepticon. Hydra and Buster combine with their Transdectors and join the fight. Diver and Phoenix arrive, shooting out their guns, to which then Hydra and Buster transform into their vehicle mode, merge into their combined vehicle mode, and take to the sky. An air battle ensues, and for some reason, Hydra and Buster flee. Not entirely sure why. They didn't really take much damage, and they had the upper hand. The rest of the Decepticons retreat, and that kind of wraps the story, because then at sunset, the Autobots in human form reflect.
Well, I'm so glad you're all okay. Would you like to have coffee at my place?
Hey, don't you think all of us deserve a better treat than that?
I only invite special people back home.
In that case, I can't say no, can I?
Oh, stop teasing, Landmine, or I'm monster.
Now, this joke's a bit different in Japanese. Diver jokes about joining the hang gliding competition next time around, but they all have a laugh, even in the dub, as Diver and Lander seem to flirt a little bit. But then everyone noticed that Metalhawk gets a little bit serious.
Hook is concerned about the two new warriors from the Decepticons. He knows that soon they'll come again. And he's right. Somewhere out there, the enemy is waiting.
And that wraps up the story itself. Again, another one that's kind of a bit of a slow drip, kind of unsatisfying, but we do get some cool bits of lore. Buster and Hydra are redecos of the Power Master Dreadwind and Darkwing figures. We meet Giga and Mega, who both have very neat designs as well. Giga being the one with that weird belt merkin pack thing. Mega is a woman with green hair. They both look really cool. Again, another two really cool looking human types that we have not really ever seen in toy form. And then finally, this whole thing is a slow drip, right? We learn a bit about the Godmasters. We know that somehow Mega and Giga have developed this technology. Mega and Giga do not have a Transdector yet on the show. I know who that's going to be. You might know who that's going to be. That one is one I'm looking forward to. And that'll take us to the third episode in this episode of Transformers University, right after this. Hey, want to help out this podcast or the website TFU.INFO? There's a number of ways you can do it. Let me tell you how. You can help us directly by joining our Patreon and enrolling as a student at Transformers University. There, you'll get early access to the podcast as well as exclusive behind-the-scenes peeks and perks for as little as $1 a month. Sign up is quick and easy. Just swing on by to www.patreon.com/TFUINFO. Another way you can help us is by using our Amazon link, www.tfu.info/Amazon. Type that into your browser whenever you want to shop at Amazon, and a portion of what you spend will be contributed back to us. It's that easy. Finally, you don't become the world's longest running transforming toy archive without some help from other fans. We're always on the hunt for photos of figures and accessories we're missing from our pages. If you'd like to contribute, go to tfu.info/help for a list of what we need, or send an email to info@tfu.info. tfu.info, the Alpha Trion and Omega Prime of transforming toys. Now, back to the show. Finally, that takes us to episode 9, A Fierce Battle. The Autobots Are in Trouble. That's the full title. Originally airing June 7th, 1988. And as for the Omni title, that is correct. The Omni dub never dubbed in the title. They just played the music. So there isn't an Omni title for this. We start with the Decepticons planning to move from the underground Caesar's Palace station back to the Pretender base that we've been with originally in the show. And they plan to blow up the underground station, but Mega objects. Elsewhere, Shuda is practicing his soccer, talking a bit about Hydra and Buster. Cab and Minerva join him, and then we find out that on Kellen Island, Cab's home, it's going to have its first electrical plant, hydroelectric plant for that matter. At the Autobot base, the Autobots watch a video of the fight from the previous episode. So we get a big chunk of this episode that is a flashback to the final couple minutes of the previous episode. It's very much like Clerks, the animated series, episode 2, where episode 2 is the flashback episode about episode 1. Metalhawk realizes that Buster and Hydra heal immediately and are somehow different and more powerful. At the Decepticon base, Lady Mega and Cancer, aka Squeeze Play, talk about this fighting style, this technique called the Dragon Fist, something that Cancer is talking up. Mega would like a demonstration. She voluntells Gilmer, aka Submarauder, to spar with Cancer. Cancer then demonstrates the Dragon Fist in human form. He's in human form, not the Dragon Fist, as he attacks the Pretender monster of Gilmer. And the fist is a kick. Yes, he kicks him in the chest. So the Dragon Fist is a kick to the chest. Also knocks him over. So fairly powerful. Nothing is done with this in this episode. So I'm going to assume this is something we see later. The Decepticons reveal their new plan. They're going to cut power to Southeast Asia, and it's going to begin with an attack on the power plant at Kellen Island. They send Buster and Hydra there, and then Giga raves at how much more powerful those two are, how much more powerful they are than the three Pretenders that he's now talking to, and does this at the expense of the Pretenders. So the Pretenders, they plot to restore their place in the Decepticon army. At Kellen Island, Buster and Hydra attack. Metalhawk sends in his Pretenders and is going to go get the Headmaster Juniors and meet them. As for the Decepticon Pretenders...
In the meantime, Bomber, Submarauder, and Skulkrin go to attack the refinery on Park Island.
So the Pretender bots then fight Buster and Hydra. Metalhawk and the Headmaster Juniors go and fight the Decepticon Pretenders. The Autobots make pretty easy work of the Pretenders and then meet up to fight Buster and Hydra. And Buster is not happy about it.
You hateful little brats! Just go to hell!
He then severely hurts Cab. The Autobots gang up on him, and Diver defeats Buster by throwing his axe into him, which makes Buster and Hydra flee. At Decepticon headquarters, we find out that Buster needs a bit more fighting experience and is jealous of his older brother, Hydra. Shuda, at his base, can't get Buster and Hydra out of his head.
Just wait and see, you human race. I'll send all of you to hell one day.
And Shuda wraps this episode up wanting Godmasters on the Autobot side and asks Metalhawk why they don't have them. So could this be foreshadowing for future Power Master involvement in this show? We'll just have to wait and see. This episode pretty much exists to show the power of the Godmasters, right? Really putting the God in Godmasters. And we're certainly in a new series of a story arc, and the slow drip continues. So that wraps up the third episode of this series, and it wraps up kind of where we're going with this episode. So my overall thoughts, these are three unremarkable plots. They're all kind of silly. This whole thing kind of could have been one episode, really. But I really like the designs of the humans. Giga, Mega, and even Buster and Hydra, especially in their armored modes. And it's moving slow, but it's still moving better than Headmasters. So I'm looking forward to seeing what we do next. Now, what do we do next here on Transformers University? Well, find out just after this.
Thanks for listening to the show. Stick around to hear what's coming up next episode, but first, I want to fill you in on a few ways you can stay in touch with the show. Want to be on the show? Leave us a voicemail at 702-763-4838. That's 702-POD-4TFU. Or send an email to info@TFU.INFO. Be sure to catch us on Twitter at TFU_info and on Facebook and Instagram under the username TFU.INFO, all one word. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/TFU.INFO, where we post all of our podcasts, plus special video segments, reviews, and live coverage of Transformers-related events such as New York Toy Fair and New York Comic Con. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please visit us at www.tfu.info, the world's longest-running transforming toy archive.
And I want to thank you for being so patient and waiting so long for this episode, which has been long overdue. Again, if you want to follow me, head on over to Blue Sky. That's the place to go. It is TFU.INFO, all one word, just like on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. TFU.INFO.bsky.social. Please join us. Help us get to 1,000 followers. Help us get up beyond 1,000 followers if we're already past it by the time you listen to it. And of course, if you want to follow the show on Patreon, become a Patreon supporter. I would be forever grateful. Lots of great stuff there as always. Patreon.com/TFU.INFO. Swing on by, sign up, and help support this show. Be a supporter of this show. Thank you. So next time on the show, it's an interesting topic. I even already have done the research, and I thought there wasn't much there, but there's actually a lot more there than I expected. We're going to head over to Europe and talk about the 1988 toy line in Europe, in parts of the UK and France, Netherlands, Belgium, and then also in Italy, which is for some reason very different than the rest of mainland Europe. So that's what we'll be back. Toy episode next time around, episode 152. I want to thank you for joining episode 151. Once again, I am your host, Anthony Brucali, owner, operator, madman behind TFU.INFO. Until next time, see ya.